Oh, yes. Hello there, Site-42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director and Head Containment Specialist here at Site-42 of the SCP Foundation. And as always, for 6.5 months and going, a daily streak that remains unbroken, I open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, for between a half hour and 3 hours a day to get your questions answered regarding the inner mysteries of the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff that contains them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them so much, and of course, hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom, we are here for the next 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours, 90 minutes of questions for the day. But before I get into questions, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, Dr. Val, congratulations on being our very first chatter of the day. Your most exceptional punctuality has been duly noted. Furthermore, Dr. Puppeteer, Notorious Gaming, Epic Fire Dragon, Billy the Go-Goat, Titan-born, Amber Chaos, Silent Follower, Cincy Lab, Dr. Main, Rat, Dark Duality, everyone whomst I have just named, thank you all for your exceptional punctuality, and thank you for being members as well. We appreciate your membership and your service. Meanwhile, Apex Sally, Zombie Rants, Pedro, Dusty, and Forest Eye, welcome to stream. Thank you for being punctual, and thank you for being here, just for being you today. So, before we get into the main events of the stream, a quick reminder. We have, for some insane reason, entered our hat into the nominations process for the Streamer Awards. Over the course of this 6 months of streaming straight, we qualified. And you know what? Why not give it a shot? If you go to our support link in the chat, the top link lists both the link to the Streamer Awards site as well as the categories we are up for. Just Chatting, Vertical, Hidden Gem, League of Their Own, and Roleplay. Put the name Site-42, which is the name of the channel, into that cadre of nominations and help us, if not win, at least force a bunch of judges from a normal real-world organization to have to look up what Site-42 and the SCP Foundation are, because I think that will be quite funny. Meanwhile, checking in on the chat real quick. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. TB Range, congratulations on making it to your second Site-42 stream. Good work. Excellent work. Attendance is improving. Dr. Puppeteer, you never have to apologize or warn me that you won't be able to donate to the stream. Trust me. Remember, Mobile Task Force Sci-42 is here. You're here. You're chatting. You're hitting the like button on the stream. You are doing enough, and we still appreciate you, buddy. Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codename Signal Boosters, make sure to support Site-42 in the YouTube algorithm. That way we can throw your support to smaller SCP projects when they spring up. I appreciate you quite a lot for that. Site-42 staff, I have a slightly red eye because, at least I think, I'm allergic to cats and dogs. I live in a house with some cats and dogs. This is going to happen sometimes. Very frustrating. I take a lot of Claritin. But I might have just rubbed my eye on a blanket with some fur and then my eyeball, and here we are. Always look forward to your streams. Well, thank you, Bored as Hell. Appreciate ya. All right. I just saw something come in the Ko-Fi. Let me get that real quick so I don't forget it. Synthsy Lab, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. And thank you for making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi since it has far less fees than a YouTube Super Chat. We appreciate the effort. Make sure to grab yourself a croissant on your way past the commissary. Hey, keep up the good work. Well, hey to you, and we definitely shall. Back to the main page. Dark Duality, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a pretzel on your way on past the commissary. Met the anomaly known as Kara in the commissary yesterday. It was stealing chocolate and smashing eggs. Seems rude. Probably should, get that thing locked up if it's gonna make a mess. Scarlet, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a taco on your way past the commissary. Not able to stay. Brought pasta of every kind in the break room. Enjoy. Also, it has things like cheese and other things people put on pasta. Choices! Ah, the pasta bar. The pasta bare. Wonderful. Kara, chocolate, Undertale reference? Well, you gotta admit, intern Bored, that whole scenario over there is anomalous AF. They're literal monsters. There's magic. That is quite anomalous, so I'm not shocked that there's a crossover. Intern Goth Mama, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Commissar Pfeiffer, thank you for your 4-month member message as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service, especially the research you're doing to help us win the battle against the White Names. Thank you for your service. I'm alive and so are you. These are both true statements. Congratulations. Good to know that you are both alive and sane. Yes, good, good. Now, a quick sidebar about today's stream title and subject, so we can get that out of the way and move on to the basic Q&A. Today, or yesterday on the SCP Wiki, I'm not exactly sure the timetable of this, but I will check right now. Friend of the channel, prolific SCP author, and all-around chill guy, Dr. Jeremiah Cimmerian, fellow SCP YouTuber, if you want to check out his videos, they're quite good, wrote an essay on the SCP Wiki. Now, essays are a section of the Wiki, along with guides and other resources. They're things people can write to help other people understand the SCP community better. They write them that way. If you're looking through and you want to know about X subject or Y subject, you go to the guides, resources, essays section. It's usually in the top bar under resources. Guides, essays and resources, wiki syntax, sandbox, and user tools. You'll find it on the home page, the resources. And so, this essay is called "The SCP Wiki is About Politics, and So Are You." You see, ever since art's creation, there have always been people who decide, well, art is for escapism only, and if it has a political message, then I don't like it. They often use the phrase, "I don't mind politics, but I don't want it shoved down my throat." Now, the thing of it is, and as Cimmerian explains in this essay, the statement, "all art is political," is very famous. Everyone's heard this at least once, I'm sure. But if you haven't, it's the idea that the artist who is creating a piece of art intrinsically inserts their bias into the art piece that they are making. The same way that there's no such thing as a non-biased news source. No matter how hard they try to stay objective, they will always insert their own politics and opinions through the way they word things or through the facts they report versus the facts they omit. So you've got to be careful of that when you're dealing with art and news, and one must stay vigilant to pay attention to what the bias of the piece is. So, those who say, oh, I don't want politics down my throat, their problem is they usually haven't evolved their thinking to the point where they see politics that agree with them are not politics, and politics they disagree with are politics. Consider, for instance, in the American political climate, the United States anyways, of America, we deal with the American right wing sees LGBTQ issues as political, whereas LGBTQ people, typically, but not always, on the left wing, because the left wing has their back at least a little more, they don't believe their lives should be political because they just want to live their damn lives. And so to them, their lives aren't political until they are opposed by the opposite party. And people don't get this dichotomy. People do not understand that, oh, well, this part of my thinking is political, because politics is always how people interact with each other, form a government, yes, but it's not just government. It's the politics of our interpersonal communications as well. Now, my little intro aside, Dr. Sumerian wants to point out that besides art being political, and how the SCP Wiki was invented in 2007, deep in the ending of the George W. Bush administration in the United States, we had a political climate in America with the signing of the Patriot Act, the encroaching on personal freedoms of the American citizenry by the government. The government's spying on you. The government's keeping secrets from you. The government's keeping tabs on you. Well, this was not necessarily the reason 173 was written. It wasn't meant to be a political satire, probably, but it is coded in the politics of the era of the way governments worked. I mean, think about the SCP Foundation itself. How does Sound check, do you read me? Sound check, do you read me? I think I'm back. Okay, we're back. We're back. Good. Yes, sorry. I saw the 079 coming across the screen. Its face showed up. It stuck its tongue out at me. It was very immature. All right, so where was I? As Dr. Sumerian puts it in his essay, where does he call us the things he calls us? Control F. The SCP Foundation is a technocratic, authoritarian, extra-governmental organization. In many interpretations, it employs prisoners as a slave workforce. It keeps information hidden from the public to protect both the public from danger and the Foundation itself from scrutiny. At its most basic, the SCP Foundation is a stand-in for government misconduct. The early wiki's stronger secret governmental organization documents vibe is not accidental. It is not wholly divorced from the time period it was first formed in. Sumerian then goes on to talk about George W. Bush. So, when you, the next section of the essay after George W. is called Justifying Authoritarianism. There's a key thing here, though. The politics of the SCP Wiki are in showing that secret and immoral actions can be justified. It's not a great critique of the politics of the Bush era, so much as it is a reinforcement of those political stances. Many works do this. The most prescient example outside of SCP is probably Warhammer 40k. The SCP Foundation's premise justifies authoritarian actions by showing a world that wants to kill us, inherently, behind the scenes, in ways many may never know or see. In a world like that, any measure taken to save not just some but all of humanity is clearly justified. Murder or worse is used time and again in the early Foundation's writings as a solution, not a problem. A hard point is made about how the Foundation is cold, not cruel, because coldness is necessary when the world wants to kill you. It is then justified when it uses D-class slave labor, since it is in the pursuit of saving the world. Montauk is justified. Murder is justified. But the key to these statements' veracity is the implied, if you accept the Foundation's premise. But you know who doesn't accept the Foundation's premise? The Chaos Insurgency. They don't accept that the Foundation should be the sole arbiters of controlling the Veil, of controlling anomalies. In character, I always talk about how they're a bunch of assholes. Very often in the beginning of the wiki, and even today, they're written as mustache-twirling evil villains, raiding our sites and blowing up our stuff. But they have an ethos and a morality that if you go to their side of the political aisle, they are justified in thinking we are fascist, we shouldn't be in charge, and they need to take us down. If you look at the Serpent's Hand, I call them damn hippies. But that's what they are, and they are against the fascist SCP Foundation trying to lock up a lot of their anomalous brethren. And the final two sections of Cimmerian's essay break down how inaction in and of itself is a political stance. Inaction in and of itself favors the oppressor, favors whoever is currently winning. Inaction is not a rejection of politics, it is just a way to be political. And finally, because there is no canon on the SCP Wiki, there is a lot of different ways you can be political. There are people who write a nicer, kinder Foundation that doesn't do all the slavery and murder, who are just by the skin of their teeth saving the world however they can and trying to be moral about it at the same time. And so, long story short, all art is political. The SCP's wiki is political. However you engage with it is your choice, but you can't deny it. This essay, as I said, is called The SCP Wiki is About Politics and So Are You, by Dr. Cimmerian on the SCP Wiki, and I suggest you give it a read later on. All right. Oh, so that was the good news. The good news is Cimmerian wrote a cool essay about politics on the SCP Wiki, something I'm going to save a link for so that when people complain about me talking about the politics of the SCP Wiki, I can put that link down and say, hey, you need to read this. And I know they won't, because the type of people who complain about politics in the SCP Wiki are the kind of people who don't really read it, or read in general, and they're the ones who most likely won't want to read that essay in the first place. But you know, it's on hand. Now, one more piece of news, this time bad news. And how appropriate that we're at 67 likes when I have to inform you of this. Dictionary.com just released the 2025 Word of the Year. And the word of the year is 6-7. Ooh. Intern Dino Jake. I know writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards. So yes, the good news is Sumerian wrote a nice essay about politics in the SCP Wiki that's very informative, very brain-enhancing. The bad news is the brain rot is winning. Dictionary.com has named 6-7 word of 2025. SCP-67 does not exist. In the brain rot fashion, it is a fountain pen, and it will continue to be a fountain pen. Okay. Now that I have completed the good news of the day and the bad news of the day, let me move on to the catching up on the donos. Cool Man Fight, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a jalapeno cheddar bagel on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I'm shitting here. I'm sitting. Sitting here. Playing Planet Crafter. I find that nice for you. You enjoy your gaming time. Commissar Pfeiffer, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a jelly donut on your way past the commissary. Scary but true, I saw... Why are my S's today? I saw a shadow person in my home. Huh. I saw a shadow person in my home. Please send me a new house, please. No, we can lock up a shadow person. You don't need a new house. With the procedures are all there. SCP-017, the shadow person. Very clearly easy to contain. You're fine. You don't need a new house. It's not in the budget. VW, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a fruit salad yummy on your way past the commissary. Did the 7th Occult War cause World War II? Or did World War II start the 7th Occult War? Or was World War II a cover-up for the 7th Occult War? Well, I have a reference somewhere to the Occult Wars. Let me see what I can find real quick. A brief primer on the Occult Wars. Over on RSCP by Redditor Blank Owl. The 7th Occult War is the most well-known of the Occult Wars, and is almost universally considered to have been the anomalous shadow of the Second World War. It was primarily fought between anomalous organizations that were part of / aligned with the Allies or the Axis. On the Axis side, the major parties were the German Obscura Corps and the Imperial Japanese Anomalous Matters Examination Agency, or Ijamea, who were opposed by the combined forces of the Allied Occult Initiative, the precursor to the post-war Global Occult Coalition, as well as the SCP Foundation and GRU Division P, the Soviet Union's equivalent of the Foundation. One of the central events of the 7th Occult War was the Obscura Corps' efforts to perform the Rite of Solomon, which would have enabled the Nazis to seize control over the fundamental nature of magic if their plans had not been scuppered by a joint Foundation Allied Occult Initiative operation. Sidebar. Not political at all. Am I right? So yes, a brief primer on the Occult Wars is what you are looking for, VW, for that, as well as blurbs on the rest of them. Commissar Pfeiffer, thank you for donating again. Here's 6-7. Can I be evil for a bit? No, we can't be evil. Remember that the children are stupid, but so were we when we were the children. May he who never yelled, "Back scratcher!" cast the first stone. Building Block, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some French fries on your way past the commissary. Was every president anomalous? Dare I ask, what was Andrew Jackson's deal? So the list of anomalous presidents is pretty deep, but I'm not sure all of them are anomalous. If anything, because some of them weren't interesting enough to record. But I do believe possibly Andrew Jackson's around. Andrew, no, what the hell? Now I can't remember if it was Andrew Jackson or not. We know about Benjamin Franklin's magical wish-granting penis. We know that George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, and one more were resurrected along with Ben Franklin. Yes, Sir Potate. Donald Trump is both a reality sink that saps anomalous energy from anomalies, and that's why we installed it as president, so it could suffocate the demon that was growing in magical energies that lives under the Capitol. It is also in the book, in the SCP-9009, white people, all the most recent presidents were anomalies, in one way or another. The anomalous white people of SCP-9009, if you want to look into that. It looks as if Andrew Jackson is not anomalous in this way. Wait. It is wholly possible the ghost of Andrew Jackson is an anomaly. Yes. Yes. Confirmed. The ghost of Andrew Jackson is going around the country shooting people who shit-talk his wife. SCP-2008, the ghost of Andrew Jackson. Leah Tender, yes. Thanks, Obamalus. Yes, in SCP-9009, Obama, a white people. Codename Oreo. I'm not making that up. That's in the SCP article. Bah. Sheeny, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a hot toddy on your way past the commissary. Seems like a good day for it. We did meme on dumb things back in the day too, but nobody made it word of the year either. Yeah. Yeah. Sub-Zero Zach, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a bag of Fritos on your way past the commissary. Have you heard of the King in Yellow? Have you seen the yellow sign? I have heard of the King in Yellow, but I have not seen the sign. It has not opened up my eyes. I am not happy living without you. I've not loved you for so long. There was something in my head, and now it's gone. Ah, yes! The blue in your hair gives me pause. Well, 4494, does that mean you will stay in your containment cell because you don't feel like it's a good idea to move? Because that's the right answer. And today is a color refresh day, so tomorrow you will see a different set of colors anyways. Commissar Pfeiffer, thank you for donating again. Soldier, dear God. Spy, there's more. Soldier, no. Okay. Emo Sherman. Not this time. Not this time. I can't make it on my own. Who is stronger, Shy Guy or the Plague Doctor? Well, while Shy Guy is extremely durable, 049's touch is literally lethal. So, yeah, 049 might get a gash, but 096 is going to fall over dead. So, that's the end of that. $44.94, the SCP Foundation community is very open to the LGBTQIA community. It is an arts community, after all. You gotta expect that around these parts. But if you're talking about me in particularly, I am asexual and annoyed and asexual at everybody trying to fraternize with the anomalies around here. It's against protocol. Dr. Wrights would like to have a word. I'm sure she would. The harlot, the hussy, the slut. In case you didn't know, Dr. Wrights is an original SCP researcher character from way back in the day, who indeed was kind of a hoe. As long as it wasn't the anomalies, I got no problem with it. Hoe around the staff. See if I care. I can be sex positive when it's not breaking protocol. The sexual identity of an SCP or any other being is irrelevant to the person they are. That is correct, Desk. Is SCP-096 breedable? Breadable? You know, I don't have any anomalies on hand that turn things into bread. We could try to turn SCP-096 into cheese, using the Philosopher's Cheese, although I'm not sure it would taste very good. And as for what I said in the first time, we'd have to find a different 096 entity to figure out if we could breed a new one. But I'd rather not, based on their anomalous abilities. Oh, ram it. Sheenie! You got it stuck in my head now. All right, that just picked the credit song. We'll get there. Can we vote 096 for president? I mean, it is barely sapient or sentient to our knowledge. It doesn't talk, it just cries and whines and then murders. So basically the same as our current president. Gojo, Amber, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Do you work for SCP? Yes. Imagine someone dyed your lab coat pink. Well, I think that would be rather fashionable. I think I could rock with that. What is the femur breaker? So, the femur breaker, remember, there is no cannon, but at least to me, it's a reclining chair with a metal bar and a highly pressurized hydraulic system. And when a person, typically a D-class, is sat upon that reclining chair, the metal bar presses down on their femurs until they snap. Now, the thing about femurs is they are the largest bone in the body, the thickest boys, and therefore the most painful to break. And that's the kind of thing we need for the kind of screams that bring SCP-106 back into containment. $44.94. If you work for SCP, why don't you know who I am? I never said I didn't. I referred to you as your designation, which is how things work as a SCP. Nothing is brought up about who you are or what you do. Therefore, question mark. Does Siren Head like bread? Well, Siren Head is not an SCP. Therefore, I do not have any... You saw nothing. I have no dietary guide to look at for Siren Head to know the answer to that. What is happening here? Don't do whatever you're doing. God loves you so much, he sent his son to die for our sins. Pudding gravy. Which Jesus are you talking about died for our sins? Because bread Jesus, SCP-3305, dies when we kill it. We make that choice. SCP-029-J, Uber driver Jesus, is just driving around town alive as hell. And in a pretty sweet ride. SCP-4477, Cockblock Jesus, is in a coma, but tries to stop teenagers from dancing too close to each other. You know, red and blue don't make purple school dance BS. Meanwhile, Vor Jesus is still alive and will come if you eat an entire Bible without condiments and then swallow you whole. So that is SCP-5991, Vor Jesus. And finally, SCP-6542, Milk Jesus, aka Cheesus. There's a lot of Jesuses, and that one, okay, Milk Jesus at least died on the cross properly and is still outside of our dimension. So you could say that that's the one you must be talking about Cheesus. But that's okay, he won't come back anytime soon as long as we keep drinking milk. The Got Milk campaign by the SCP Foundation in the 90s was super successful. So yeah, which Jizai do you mean is what I'm saying. I draw you. Well, intern Booth, I look forward to seeing said drawing. I'm honestly impressed by how many SCPs Dr. Sherman knows about. I only know 20 or 30 of them. Well, Asmara, I've been here for about 12 to 13 years in the fandom, 10 years making YouTube videos about it. I've kinda been steeped in it for a bit. And even then, I get the numerical designations wrong even if I remember the stories, because there's just so many numbers. Frickin' rude, by the way, that you can just be out in public and ask the barista at the coffee shop for the code to the bathroom door, and then you have to have a PTSD flashback because they said the code to the door was 8980. I mean, that's just rude. What a whack-ass fandom SCP is. Just walking around out in public, and oh boy, there's a 3 or 4 digit number. Now I have to be thinking about stories for some reason. Sector, SCP-8980 is one of my favorite articles. It is horrifying. There are massive content warnings if you want to read it. But it's damn good. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Alright, turns out I missed the Ko-Fis for a minute, so I'm going to catch up on those real quick. Autistic Monkey, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Thank you for doing it through the Ko-Fi. Make sure to grab yourself a candied bacon on your way past the commissary. Hi, Doctor. Just want to know your thoughts on the current entries of SCP Anthology 2025. Well, the first 3, I enjoyed them. I have not caught up because they are long articles and I've been very busy. But today, during my hair appointment, I will be sitting there waiting for bleach and color for a very long time, so I will have time to catch up. I think that's what I'll do today, actually. Dr. Dark Star, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Thank you for making the effort to go to the Ko-Fi, which saves us on the fees. We appreciate it greatly. Make sure to grab yourself a lamb flank on your way past the commissary. Hey, Doc, I'm at my cover job right now. Happy to finally do the Ko-Fi support for once. I just got my ramen from the commissary. Anything you want me to grab for you? Oh, man, I'm starving. Can you just get me some burg? I could use a good burg right now. A bacon cheeseburg. Dark Duality, thank you for your first donation through the Ko-Fi for today's stream. I'm not getting near that creepy smiley face. Tried to make Kara emoji, but couldn't, so you get dead-eyed instead. Can I get pink lab coat for reals? So, either there are pink lab coats out there that can be gotten and worn, otherwise, someone would have to dye their lab coat pink. That's a, way for that to happen. And are you saying you want the pink lab coat, or do you want me to have the pink lab coat? Because I'm happy for you to have the pink lab coat. And honestly, I think it'd be a good look along the way. Probably wouldn't go in my full rotation. I've got kind of a reddish, pinkish complexion anyways. So pink might just overshoot it a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Alright, Ko-Fi's caught up on. No Ko-Fi left behind. Back to the chat. Normal bacon cheeseburger or Western bacon cheeseburger? You know, I always love me a good Western, but today I'm feeling the regular. I gotta change it up a little bit, and they've been really improving the special sauce in the commissary. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. 4477 is what we need when someone wants to breed with the anomalies. Save us, cockblock Jesus. Save us. Lils, the Ko-Fi link is in the support link that is pinned in the chat. When you go to the link that is pinned, it will go to all of our ways to support the channel, and one of those is the Ko-Fi. What SCP do you think you could beat in a fight? Well, intern Bloom, I am a researcher, I'm not a combatant. As a dancer, I have a little bit of a higher coordination than your average researcher, but that's not going to win me a lot of fights. I choose 1370. I'm just going to kick Pesterbot over. That's great. That's winning. I watch your vids sometimes, but never saw you live. Well, Intern Blood, welcome to your first stream then. As we are at the halfway point of this stream, I will go ahead and point out as a reminder, A, welcome to Dr. Sherman's office hours, as always. I'm Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. For 6.5 months, the streak continues strong. I have streamed daily for at least 30 minutes, typically more like 3 hours, to tell you guys the answers to your burning questions about the inner workings of the SCP Foundation. So if you haven't been here to stream before, welcome. Make sure to hit the bell so you know when we go live, because it's a different time every day, you never know. And because YouTube's subscription notification bell can sometimes be a bit tetchy and doesn't always work, you can go to the Site 42 Discord server, and there's a role to be pinged for live alerts. And that's a lot more not convenient, although it is convenient. Consistent. It's a lot more consistent. Also, furthermore, last piece of housekeeping for our halfway part of this 90-minute stream, with which has 45 minutes left. Remember that we are currently in nominations for the Streamer Awards. You can go to the link in our chat, go to the Streamer Awards, and you can vote for us for 5 categories with which we qualify. Best Roleplay Streamer, Best Vertical Live Streamer, Best Just Chatting Streamer, Best... what was the 4th one? Darn, I was doing good. Hidden Gem Award and League of Our Own. Those 5 we could qualify for. Do we think we'll win? Probably not. But will we force some normal people outside the fandom, the judges of this competition, to look into Site 42 to figure out what it is, to figure out what the SCP Foundation is? Yes. And that is how we worm our way into their brains and into the brains of the greater streaming community. We're making our mark, people, one battle at a time. So make sure to vote for Site 42 in the Streamer Awards categories we chose for you. Thank you very much. Resident Gamer, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a tasty caramel on your way past the commissary. Danger imminent, SCP-637 got hold of the replicator. 637, you say? I don't have that off the top of my head. And now my browser is lagging. Give me a second. Please work. Please work. Is my keyboard dead? Can I type on anything? No, my keyboard batteries are dead. This is not a good, helpful thing. Okay. Well, my keyboard's dead. You will have to pardon me for one moment while I go to maintenance and find some AAA batteries. I will be right back. In the meantime, let Dr. Chair entertain you with a sweeping story of epic victory. Son of a gun. Guess who's the cool guy with 100 AA batteries and 0 AAA batteries? So, Desk, for the duration of this stream, I'm going to need you to do all of the SCPs I need to look up through Discord, because I can't do it. Hilarious. I mean, I also guess I can go the long way and go through the series list. Okay, I can do the series list at least, as long as I don't accidentally close the tab so I can no longer go to the SCP wiki. Oh, this is stupid. Oh, I'm gonna go buy some batteries later. That's so funny. Okay. To finish off with Resident Gamers Dono, SCP-637 is the viral cat, an elderly Caucasian. What is 637-1? You started with SCP-637-2. A psychic organism which subsists entirely in this old lady's mind. It's described by its host as a little black cat. Although the creature normally resides in a blank space in a subject's mind, it is capable of residing for several minutes as a drawn item on paper, wood, or other substance. If a sapient organism not presently carrying 673 sees the reproduction, the image will vanish and 637 will take up residence in the new subject's mind. So it is a mimetic cat fictional construct. Well, yes, good news, if that gets to the replicator, it's not really going to do much because it loses replication and goes into the mind of the person who perceived it and then disappears from its medium. Unless you can have multiple copies. That would not be good, in fact. Okay, well, let's just get that thing back in containment, shall we? O51, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a hot pickle on your way past the commissary. Insert Robot Larry, curb your enthusiasm. Robo Larry. So sort of a weaker George the Chinchilla. Chestafactory, yes, seemingly similar in that it does not replicate, or it seems like it stays as one instance. The Foundation was trying to weaponize it for war, using it to distract people's brains with a cat. It seems like the cat can be trapped in other people's minds, but when that D-class dies, it's transmitted back to the original owner. So there is only one cat. If you put the cat in someone's brain, it then goes into their brain, and the person who had it before doesn't have it. So yes, it's an individual traveling George the Chinchilla, sort of. Why did you stop doing the duet TikToks? Is it because you couldn't find anything to duet or got bored of it? I just made a bunch over on the TikTok, actually. Just for you guys' understanding of the content process here at Site42, I like the TikTok video editor, so I use TikTok to make the shorts, and that means they get released there, and then we have a rotating schedule to upload them to all of the other social platforms. So if you follow Site42 on TikTok, you'll see the shorts we make first. Rat, we have yet to find the CI agents carrying George the Chinchilla. They do not understand the weapon of mass destruction they have. We need to home in on them. They're going to ground because they know we're looking for them. We got to find something. And by the way, Site42 staff, congratulations. You've got the like count way above the viewer count. Good work, like button hitters. With your work, the YouTube algorithm will bring us more and more people who will go, what the hell is this? Why has he got blue hair? Why is he wearing a lab coat? What is the SCP Foundation? And then we show them what we got. And that's how we continue to bring more and more people into the SCP Foundation universe. So thank you, Mobile Task Force Psi-42 code name Signal Boosters, for your service. America, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a tuna pate on your way past the commissary. Hey, Dr. Sherman, I made an SCP vid. Check it out now. Oh, all right. America, I'll have to check that out after stream. Good. Dragon Hunter, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, and thank you for donating twice right off the bat. Grab yourself some chicken salad sandwiches on your way past the commissary. I'm back. What if you put Shy Guy in front of Infinite IKEA? Well, welcome back. And Shy Guy is seemingly immortal, or at least incredibly durable and long-lasting, probably. And that means that trapped in the Infinite IKEA with the moving door, it is still statistically likely that it would come across the door at some point and get loose. So that's a bad idea. And especially if someone outside the door saw the photo of 096, then it would sense where the door is and get out even faster. Bad idea. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Don't you have an on-screen keyboard? OSK. I've never used one before. I mean, not on a phone, sure, an iPad, but my computer does not have an on-screen keyboard, no. That must be a setting if it's something you're talking about. I've never heard of that before. O51, thank you for donating again. Find a pack of AAA on the Discord of the branding the Sherman rechargeable batteries and play the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song. Bing boom. The Resident Gamer, thank you for donating again. Llama Coral in Site42, don't feed baby hands. If you know, you know. No, do not feed Coral baby hands. Keep Coral in the containment cell where it can't murder half of the site, please. America, thank you for donating again. It's also my first, by the way, you might be surprised. All right, well, we'll see what you got when I get over there. Rat, have a good night. We'll see you at the next one. Kooky Space Cat, welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dragon Hunter, thank you for donating again. Are the employees the only SCPs in the Infinite IKEA? That is hard to say. We can only do so much research without actually going in and getting stuck ourselves. But from what we see from drone footage, besides the survivor villages and the employees, sometimes a random anomaly will be spotted. I've assumed that anomalies can fall into the Infinite IKEA from other universes as well. What is your thoughts on the Department of Other? The Department of Other. Since I can't type, Desk, can you get me a link to the Wiki's departments list? That's not in the series list, so I can't find it very easily. How do I wiki walk to the list of departments on the wiki? Jiminy sakes. Much obliged, Desk. Department of Other. The Department of Other is responsible for the containment of SCP objects that don't fit neatly into any other department's purview. The anomalies that require anyone who interacts with them to behave in bizarre and completely unprofessional manner. The anomalies that everyone else in the Foundation would rather not be associated with. The anomalies that require their own list to separate them from all the other SCP articles. That's right, the jokes are on us. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Well, that is... That's rough, buddy. They have it pretty rough. Also, what do you mean this SCP is titled Codename Guns Pointed at the Balls of God? What do you mean, guns pointed at the balls of God? Why? What? Which God? Which guns? Which balls? This is called SCP-More Gun. Level 6, Cosmic, Top Secret. Assigned site at Site 19. Project lead, Dr. Chekhov. His head researcher, Dr. Moore and Dr. Gunn. SCP-More Gun refers to an anomalous correlation between the magnitude of excessive and gratuitous firepower and the effectiveness of any actions that firepower is applied to. While poorly understood for the most part, it is known that the presence of the following factors may lead to the occurrence of SCP-More Gun. An excessive amount of firearms. Footnote, defined as anything that shoot things really quickly. Footnote 2, inclusive of a potato jammed into a vehicular exhaust pipe. An excessive variety of firearms. Ideally, no two firearms should be of identical make, but this appears to be overridden by increments in total number of firearms used. And customization of firearms present. SCP-More Gun was first discovered during an incident involving D-Class and Armed Mobile Task Force personnel. An experimental adiabatic bomb, several rolls of toilet paper, a leaf blower, and a breached SCP-Redacted-J. Following amendments to SCP-Redacted-J's containment procedures and several other unrelated incidents of similar nature, the Department of Other formally opened investigations into the anomaly to investigate the extent of its effects and to further understand its initiation process. And here is the More Gun model. Pathetic. Lack of guns in the bottom left. Holy shit amount of guns on the right. Chance of failure at the bottom left. And then desired outcome at the top left. And so, you can have pathetic lack of guns and nothing happens. At just enough, you get peak of acceptability. And then you have a long stretch where you're just being excessive, you're just being excessive, you're just being excessive, until you finally achieve SCP-More Gun and reach the holy shit vertice. And then everything is better. Apparently. That's just science. This is a fairly long article, so I will leave that for you to check out. But it is by SCP author Aftocrater, and it's currently at a rating of plus 125, so it seems a pretty positive joke article. Please enjoy it at your own leisure. SCP More Gun-J. Dr. Dark's, Dark Duality. Thank you for donating to the Ko-Fi again. Did Wondertainment make Pesterbot to maybe as a prototype for Robo-Dude? Maybe. I don't think we have a discovery of Pesterbot's creator, so that it's not unlikely. The pink lab coat is for me. Very artistic people have to see me as cool then. Well, yeah, pink lab coat would make you a pretty cool scientist, especially to the artsy types. Dr. Darkstar, thank you for donating again through the Ko-Fi. I mean, I was found right after I escaped SCP-3008, jumped from my own reality, and if needed, I can fly you some batteries if you need. Well, I mean, stream ends in about 20 minutes, and at that point, I can go pick up some batteries while I'm out on my errands. So no worries, no worries. Fire Edits, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some Reese's Puffs cereal on your way past the commissary. Love the vids, love the vids. Well, thank you very much. My favorite SCP is 1009. In what's your? SCP-1009. The Beautiful World. An anomalous area of land. Area will expand, converting all foreign materials around it to further areas. Growth is entirely restrained by loud noises. Any sound will stop growth in the immediate area. Okay, very interesting anomalous area. Cool, pretty picture too. America, thank you for donating again. Feel free to make a duet too, you're welcome. I will if it inspires me. I never like to make promises. You never know. Also, if I have time. Sheesh. Dragon Hunter, thank you for donating again. I'm making an SCP with chemicals. Are you writing an SCP about chemicals? Are you currently creating an SCP by combining chemicals? Because, you know, the sugar, spice, everything nice combination did come up with at least some beneficial anomalies. So depending on what chemicals you're dealing with, that'll come out to a lot of different results. Also, furthermore, just don't make more anomalies. We have to contain those, you know? It's a lot of resources, a lot of paperwork. I will take some more Claritin when stream is over. It's just a little itchy. 051, thank you for donating again. Reminds me of SCP Safe-J. Oh, I do love me some SCP Safe-J. That is a fun one. And we have a recording of it here on the channel if you want to hear me performing SCP Safe-J. That is an old school reading on this channel. How is SCP political? Well, Bro, you can go back to near the beginning of stream to get the full speech, but it has to do with all art being political, with the SCP Foundation being a authoritarian, technocratic, extra-governmental organization, and justifying the bad things they do to save the world is a form of political stance. If you think it's right that we have slaves, the D-class, that we willingly murder sometimes for very little reason, for the greater good, that's a political ideology in and of itself. And so how you write the Foundation and what you do and how you perceive it, that is a function of the politics of the story, as well as your politics in observing it. What's the most emotional research you had to do? Well, I would say the two SCP articles that gave me the strongest vibes overall in the hitting you in the face with feelings, outside of my favorites, would be SCP-2718, What Comes After, utterly horrifying. SCP-8980, utterly horrifying. And then if you're talking about ones that I've researched personally, that would be SCP-2700-EX. That's one of my articles, and it is quite the emotional journey. Welcome all of you not so punctual folks coming in at the last 15 minutes of stream. At least you made it. Better than those suckers who missed it completely. What about floating hand spider? Well, intern crew, I don't believe that the floating hand spider is a particularly emotional anomaly. I mean, unless the emotion is you don't want your face eaten. Scarlet, welcome back and thank you for donating again. I'm back again. How is everyone? I have a Swiss roll for the break room to have people didn't want pasta. Get there quick before it's eaten. Swiss roll. How often do the snacks for the infinite loop... SCP-5320 is not a loop. But I do believe the key is a take one, replace one policy for the microwave regarding SCP-5320. If you take one, you have to replace it. You have to trade these. That's the trick. Dragon Hunter, thank you for donating again. You didn't send a message this time, so simply thank you for your generosity. O51, thank you for donating again. You do realize I made you sing the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme, and now it is my terminal notification sound, plus that's going to be fun on the staff phones. I mean, you didn't make me do anything. It got stuck in my head, and I sing. That is by choice to do so. Thank you. Furthermore, I guess enjoy that. Would the SCP Foundation work on a capitalism or communism? Intern, I'm going to call you Poe11. Intern Poe11, the SCP Foundation has to function within multiple countries with multiple financial systems. So while what we do in the United States has to be oriented around the way the United States government's economic policies work or don't work, and that's how we have to navigate to acquire resources. Countries where the economic systems are different, we still work under them to successfully acquire resources in whatever manner we have to. Is it me or does Dr. Sherman's hair look more grayish instead of blue now? Well, it's been fading for a couple months, so that tracks. Scarlett, thank you for donating again. Going again because I have a headache and I'm visiting my niece tomorrow. Have a good night and see you at some point, I guess. Have fun with your niece. Ah, Polly, I see. I did not expect the leet language. I should have. This is the internet after all. Nothing wrong with gray hairs. Oh, yes, that is what all of this on the side is. This is just gray hair. This is gray for real, not for play. The salt is getting into the pepper. Did I miss something over here? Dr. Dark Star, thank you for donating through the Ko-Fi again. Oh yeah, Doc, my new tablet came in. I can officially take notes for research on my own again. Oh, very helpful. I look forward to be able to do that too, eventually. Half of the millennial generation just saw Rogue in X-Men and said, yes, gray hair is cool now, and went with it. I see all of you in the chat. I see all of you. Tiny Ice and Chase, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Once you get too old, are you able to retire from the SCP Foundation? Well, first of all, yeah, when is not the operative word so much as if. As you can imagine, life at the Foundation can be pretty risky, so the amount of people we have retire out of old age is not as much as the general population, that's for sure. But there is that point where if you do make it, then retirement, you know, you have your normal retirement party, but then you have to be amnesticized when you leave the Foundation. And so we set you up, depending on how well you did, what your position was. You get a set allotment of money, we find you a place to live, we get you a civilian job, we amnesticize you to think you've been working for 40 years, and you get out there and do the rest of your life at that point, not remembering where you've been. Oh, jeez. Of course, fucking Dr. Christopher Burns was one of those. Yeah, right? Fuck Dr. Christopher Burns. All my homies hate Dr. Christopher Burns. Orange Cloud, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a plate of fried pickles on your way past the commissary. Sir, we have a problem. Dr. Heston's little oh, God. Is nowhere to be found. SCP, that thing, is currently unaccounted for. Damn it, damn it. And I'm about to go sit in a hairstylist chair for 3 hours. What the hell's gonna happen during that breach? Oh, Jiminy sakes. Find it! What'd you think about the drama with that one SCP series with the main character called Connor? I forget the show's name. Oh, confinement. I feel a sadness and a tragedy. As someone who's been around the block a few times, I have seen creators let their personal life ruin their work for one reason or another, or not even their own personal life, but their personal connections. It is a whole lot of bad luck. And you know, sometimes your artistic dreams make it hard to make your project by using licensed music. None of those millions of views turned into money for the creator. That's rough, buddy. Lead to that, all the drama that got into. It was, because yeah, those early episodes, they were promising. I wish that they could have kept the track running. But we will just have to find a team and make our own show with blackjack and hookers. You know what? Forget those. Let's just make the SCP show. Dr. Sherman, what would happen if SCP-055 breached containment? How would the Foundation stop it? Well, the easy way is that there isn't a 5-5. What are you talking about? We don't have a 5-5. How long have you been streaming for? Well, today's stream is 85 minutes, which means we are 5 minutes from the end of stream. We are just about to wrap out, so get your last questions in. But furthermore, yes, if you mean how long you've been streaming for, we've been streaming for 6.5 months straight at daily streams. The streak stays strong. SCP show? Yes. The purpose of Site 42 is to A, make more people fans of the SCP community. That way, more people are interested and we can get more filmmakers involved, artists, animators, and people make SCP shows. Now, that part of the plan is working because we've gotten a lot of people in the community and inspired a lot of art of it. The next phase is to get big enough to finance people's productions. So I want to make my own with a team, but I know I got to assemble a team. I got to get a whole bunch of ducks in a row for that. That's going to be hard. First thing I do is just get the channel big enough, and then I can point at a project and say, make it! And it gets made. And so projects, SCP animation projects here on YouTube, I send you guys over to them. You hype them up. You hit the like button. You subscribe to them. You give them Patreon money. You are the ones helping boost this because we were able to find them together. That's what Mobile Task Force Sci-42 Codename Signal Boosters is all about. Professor M, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Saw Ko-Fi come in. Let me not miss that. Dr. Darkstar, thank you for donating again. Why can't you take research notes? I couldn't because of my dragon talons aren't normal, smart device friendly. So, you must have stepped away from a moment at the point where the batteries in my keyboard died. And although I have 100 AA batteries in my office, I don't have any AAAs. So I just can't take notes right now because I can't type. But I will fix that later on, while I'm out and about. Can it not do wired? This one does not have a wire at all. This is a Bluetooth, and it goes to my laptop that I use for these streams. Serious question, have you been contacted to start in the Backrooms movie? Well, intern user, I have not been reached out to by A24's Backrooms movie. It is quite the different fandom. I'd go hang out with them if they wanted an SCP doctor on board, or just author Sherman playing a role. But I don't feel like the crossover is there. Guys, it's an ergonomic keyboard, okay? I am a tall, broad man. When you have your hands too narrow together, it's not ergonomically good, so the width lets you spread out your arms and your fingers. Orange Cloud, thank you for donating again. Thank God I've been making more drones. Opens a door and reveals 6 new drones, bringing the total to 13. Which God are you thanking? It's important. Which God are you thanking for that? Better not be Milk Jesus. The milk gets in there, it's going to fry their circuits. Oh, you started early today. Who are you for someone's first time watching? So, here at the very end of stream, I'll tell you one more time our housekeeping. This has been Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site-42 of the SCP Foundation, answering your questions about the inner workings of the SCP Foundation, whether it be in-universe questions about the anomalies we contain, or out-of-universe questions about the writing process, and making your own SCP stories, films, games, etc. Meanwhile, reminder that through this 6-month streak of streaming, we have qualified for the Streamer Awards, and we are currently in the nomination process. So the first link in our support link, which is pinned in the chat, or what Desk will share here, is a link to the Streamer Awards nomination page. Put Site-42 into the 5 categories that we qualify for. League of Our Own for being unique. Hidden Gem for being a smaller streamer. Best Vertical Live Streamer. Best Just Chatting Streamer. And Best Roleplay Streamer. You can put Site-42, Site-42, into each of the categories and press send. Obviously, if you have other people you want to vote for them too. You don't have to vote for us, but would be nice. I enjoy the thought of getting a bunch of normal people, non-fandom judges of streaming and stuff like that, to have to look into the SCP Foundation and get very confused as to what it is because we were nominated. That makes me laugh. And so please vote for us, and thank you for your consideration. Furthermore, here we are at the end of stream, people, and as always, at the end of stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs, but of course, I'm not going to tell you that the SCPs I personally wrote are my favorite. That would be cheating. That would be narcissism of the grandest scale. But if you want to read the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site-42 Hub on the SCP Wiki. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as did voice lines for, or sound effects, stuff like that. And one tab over from the SCPs, you'll find some links. Some links people are very often very interested in finding, but they're just not smart enough, determined enough, brave enough to find and click on those links. But that's not you. You guys would do it. And so, while you're there at those links, you can become a Patreon patron or YouTube channel member to donate to us monthly. You can do Ko-Fi or YouTube Super Chats to donate to us one at a time. Either way, direct donations help us keep the lights on, and we appreciate it. And even if you can't donate, we appreciate you being here, watching our videos and commenting, being in the streams and chatting. By liking, sharing, subscribing, you make yourself an honored and valuable member of Mobile Task Force Site-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. And because of your efforts, Site-42's algorithmic pull gets stronger, and people get ripped into the riptide of the SCP Foundation. And they help us to support the SCP Wiki and its authors and artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, etc. We want more SCP stuff? Amazon and Netflix ain't ever going to touch it because of the Creative Commons, so we have to do it ourselves. And because of you, Mobile Task Force Site-42, codename the Signal Boosters, we can. So thank you for your service. Also, shout out to Dr. Sumerian in the chat. SCP author and YouTuber extraordinaire, all-around chill dude, and wrote the SCP political essay that we spoke of today. It's a great essay. I was kind of scattered when I got started. Today's an early stream. I'm a little brain dead. Things have been crazy. My eyes distracting me from being itchy. But we did talk about it, and I like what you got there, Sumerian. Good work. Everyone, give some clapping to Sumerian. I think we started talking about it about 3 minutes into stream. 3 to 5 minutes in. But without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning for that last one, it is a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, 8980. Content warning on the last one, it's a rough read. Site-42 staff, as well as those of you from the Greater SCP Foundation. This has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Save me, Mario. Please help me, Luigi. No, 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 I don't think so. Why? What you saying, bro? That bitch is a hoe, Luigi. Why you out here simping? She been creeping on the low. Who said everybody knows? Oh, Mario, don't save her. She's for the streets, don't let her go. Don't save her. Please don't leave me all alone. Don't save her. She even gave it up to Toad. Save me, Mario. Please help me, Luigi. No, 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 I don't think so. Why? What you saying, bro? That bitch is a hoe, Luigi. Why you out here simping? She been creeping on the low. Who say this? Everybody knows. The credit song is Mario Don't Save Her by Brandon Jamar Scott. Be safe, be well, Site-42 staff. Secure, contain, protect.